The Trump administration and congressional Republicans are pushing to overhaul the Endangered Species Act. The 45-year-old landmark law has helped safeguard American icons like the bald eagle and the grizzly bear. Republicans say their plans would modernize the act, but conservationists say their plans will gut it. Nancy Cordes is at Rock Creek Park in Washington, D.C. to sort it all out. Nancy, good morning to you.
Good morning. What the Endangered Species Act does is protect the habitat and food sources of animals who are on the list. And it's a big part of the reason that bald eagles have returned to this park after a decades-long absence. But Democrats say it has to be protected, while Republicans argue that there's a current imbalance between protection and progress. They're pushing nearly a dozen bills that would make it harder to get a species on the list, easier to take it off.
The Endangered Species Act is credited with bringing gray wolves, Florida manatees, and the humpback whale back from the brink of extinction. Still, Utah Republican Rob Bishop says the act is broken.
So all we're doing is making lists of species. We're not really rehabilitating them.
One of his bills would require the government to consider not just science, but the cost to business before adding a new animal to the list.
So you're saying let a species go extinct if it means...
That's actually not what I'm saying. It's not at all what I'm saying. What I'm saying is don't specify and limit yourself into looking at what the criteria has to be.
The push has alarmed conservationists.
The Endangered Species Act has been wildly successful.
Jamie Rappaport Clark ran the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service under President Clinton.
Republicans say they just want to modernize the act.
Modernize is code for eviscerate, undermine. What it does is it rolls back protections for species on the brink of extinction.
But Republicans argue that long-term protections for animals like the spotted owl hamper logging, drilling, and development.
The goal is to actually help these species recover.
Wyoming Republican John Barrasso's bill would turn some of the federal role for protecting endangered animals over to the states.
I think they have a lot more understanding of what goes on in their state.
As Congress debates, the Trump administration is looking at ways to act on its own by blocking certain animals from the list, like the sage grouse, a bird that lives on oil-rich land out west.
When environmental groups say you're trying to destroy the Endangered Species Act, you say...
That's crap. We're trying to make it better. So if they want to malign me or malign the process, let those radical groups do it.
He and his colleagues are trying to get these bills passed by the end of the year. They're worried that Democrats could take control of the House after the midterm elections. And, John, while the White House can make some of these changes on its own, those changes could always be rolled back by future administrations. That's why they're hoping that they can change the law itself.
Nancy, thanks.